Class. Okay, now we're going to set up our introduction of our rough draft. We've gone through the word web, and we also set up the outline so we have our order that we're going to do it. So this part is the essay, the story, and paragraph structure. All right? So, just real briefly, it's kind of, I wish somebody would have told me this when I was in 5th grade. It's kind of with every paragraph, with every essay, with every report, you follow the same basic format. What you're going to do is, you're going to tell them what you're going to talk about. That's called our introduction. We're then going to go ahead and talk about it. That's our body. And then finally, we're going to tell them what we talked about. That would be our conclusion. So basically, like I said, paragraphs, essays, reports, even books follow the same format. Well, we're going to just focus on the first part, which is to tell them what we're going to talk about. Hey, a little note on your rough draft. I want to make sure that you double space your rough draft so that you can edit and provide dynamic changes between the lines, okay? So that's really key. So don't forget double space. All right, now I'm going to put on my creative hat again. Now the reason I'm doing this is because, yeah, I was editing before when I was doing the structure, but now I'm back into just getting creative, okay? So I want you to think in creative mode. You're going to use your outline, you're going to use your information, but I want you just letting it flow. Don't worry about spelling and grammar and some of that stuff, but make sure you can write well enough so you could read your own work. But you're just going to let it flow because later on we can go back and make those changes. All right. In 4th grade, you learned about some structure, but to begin with, we have the introduction paragraph, and you're going to need to briefly set the stage, and we'll talk about that 4th grade structure too. Here's a picture of a time when my wife and I went scuba diving, and so this is representing the stage, okay? And then you're going to briefly introduce the characters. In this case, there's me and my beautiful wife Heidi. And then you're going to hint at the plot line without giving it away. Of course, this is a manta ray. You can see in comparison to the divers how big they are. And as you work through your story, you'll reveal each of these elements in detail. All right? Now, in 4th grade, the teachers went over and they had this kind of structure, which is similar. And so just keep this in mind and basically ask them for the same thing. Maybe not quite as formalized, but yes, you're going to include something to grab our attention, a hook. You're going to introduce the setting, the time or place. You're going to introduce the characters. Okay? So you can see it's very similar to what I'm asking for. And you're going to describe the overall mood before anything takes place or happens. All right. So here we go. The mantas of Kona. So, I'm focusing on just the first part in the introductory paragraph. I'm just going to tell them in a very brief way what I'm going to talk about. All right. Now here is kind of the outline idea. Now we didn't necessarily put this on there, but it's setting the stage, introducing the characters, hinting at the plot line. So here we go. So this is what I came up with. As the boat gently rocked back and forth with the ocean swell, my heart skipped a beat as I thought of the exciting adventure that lay ahead. Heidi and I, I'm introducing the characters, were on our way to our first night dive. Of course, this is the stage, okay, going on the night dive. This wasn't your average night scuba dive, either, with the promise of manta rays. So I'm hinting at the main plot line, that rising action and obviously the climax when they show up. We are in for the adventure, or we are in for an adventure. Okay, so you can see I have each of those parts. Now notice there's not a lot of detail here. I've introduced them. We're going to go into detail when we get to the body paragraphs, okay? All right. So, what I want you guys to do now is you're going to take your outlines And you're going to start your rough draft. Don't forget to double space. And I want you to include those key things. Now sometimes people think of the introduction like an umbrella. In other words, everything that you're going to write about in the body needs to fall underneath that umbrella. Okay, and that's what I've done here, and that's why I only briefly introduce the stage, the characters, and the plot line. I want you to go do the same thing. Go for it.